All right, we're back. We're back. Welcome back, everyone. This is RTG. Travel all around the world, learn about different history, different cultures. Um, we are going to learn about the Olympic Games, the history of the Olympic Games. This is a good topic. We're here with Herodotus. All right. So let's get right into it. It's gonna be a nice tour. So we're in the region of Elis. We're gonna take a day-by-day look at the prestigious Olympic Games.
Hail, friend, and welcome to Olympia, home of the Olympic Games. My name is Barnabas, and I'm a ship captain. Don't be fooled by my eye. Though I've seen my share of combat, I mostly stick to trading these days. Well, trading and introducing visitors like you to wonderful sights like this. I've often dreamed of competing in the games. If my sight was better, my legs and arms were stronger, and my coin purse was fatter. But that is not what the gods want, so I continue making the best of the path they've laid out for me. We're standing in the main section of Olympia, where the Olympic Games themselves took place. Over the course of the festival, athletes competed against each other for prestige and glory to honor themselves and their cities. Enjoy your visit, friend. I'll check in when you're done to make sure you've been paying attention.
The first day of the Olympic Festival began with a swearing-in ceremony for the participating athletes, trainers, and judges. The ceremony took place in front of the altar of Zeus Horkios, or Zeus of the Oath. Athletes would swear that they would follow the Olympic rules, while judges promised to be fair and unbiased. Then the competitions began, starting with a contest between heralds and trumpeters over who would have the privilege of announcing the games. The first day's athletic competitions consisted of wrestling, running, and boxing events for the youngest athletes, aged 12 to 18.
Right into the boxing, huh? I like that. So this image we have here, wow, they used to be out just dangling out and everything. This is a red figure Kilix drinking cup with scene of a warrior blowing in trumpet. 500 BCE, archaic Greece. This was found in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. It's given a date of 1993. So maybe this image was taken in 1993 or something like that. This is day one. The competition of heralds and trumpeters was introduced to the Olympic Games in 396 BCE. The winners of the contest were chosen based on their loudness and clarity. During the games, the trumpeter's main purpose was to demand the audience's attention, while the herald announced the start of competitions. The herald also proclaimed the names, fathers, and hometowns of the victorious athletes during the final crowning ceremony. So that's a scene of a warrior blowing in his trumpet. Very interesting. It's interesting that he's not wearing any clothes for whatever reason. I'm not judging, just an observation. We're learning about the Olympic Games, y'all. Next station.
The The second day began with a grand procession into the Hippodrome to celebrate the start of the popular equestrian events. The most anticipated and spectacular of these was the Quadriga, a 4-horse chariot race. Horse racing events were unique in that the winner was not the most skilled jockey, but the owner of the fastest horse or chariot. The Spartan princess Kaniska once took advantage of this loophole to skirt the rule that women weren't allowed to compete and earned 2 Olympic victories in the process.
Wow.
The rule also allowed for occasionally strange results, like in 416 BCE, when the statesman Alcibiades entered 7 chariots into a race and won 1st, 2nd, and 4th place. After the equestrian competitions, the 40,000 spectators migrated to the stadium to watch the pentathlon events. When the day's events were over, funeral rites were performed for the hero Pelops, the mythical founder of the Olympic Games. The night ended with...
Oh man, I cut it off too soon.
The second day began with a grand procession into the Hippodrome to celebrate the start of the popular equestrian events. The most anticipated and spectacular of these was the Quadriga, a 4-horse chariot race. Horse racing events were unique in that the winner was not the most skilled jockey, but the owner of the fastest horse or chariot. The Spartan princess Kaniska once took advantage of this loophole to skirt the rule that women weren't allowed to compete and earned 2 Olympic victories in the process. The rule also allowed for occasionally strange results, like in 416 BCE, when the statesman Alcibiades entered 7 chariots into a race and won 1st, 2nd, and 4th place. After the equestrian competitions, the 40,000 spectators migrated to the stadium to watch the pentathlon events. When the day's events were over, funeral rites were performed for the hero Pelops, the mythical founder of the Olympic Games. The night ended with a celebratory feast and a great parade in honor of the day's victors.
So one thing I'm noticing, like the coinage, like it reminds me of, you know, our coins, our United States coins. You know, that side profile. Okay, so it says day 2. Well, actually, let me read this. So that image in the background is a Quadriga racer crowned by Nike on reverse of a decadrachm of Syracuse. Okay, 405 or to 400 BCE is the time frame that they give in classical Greece. It says the Athenian statesman Alcibiades once bought and enrolled 7 chariots in a race. This turned out to be a good investment, as his purchases ended up winning 1st, 2nd, and 4th place. Alcibiades' victory earned him an enormous feast and an equally enormous boost in popularity. He leveraged this popularity to wield considerable power over Athens' other politicians, and would often reference his Olympic feat to get people to take his side on a variety of issues. This backfired spectacularly when Alcibiades convinced Athens to send a military expedition to Sicily. The expedition ended in disaster and signaled the beginning of the end of Athens' power. So we got someone named Alcibiades. Alcibiades. I'm going to keep that in mind for the quiz later. I know they're going to, quiz me on that.
Celebratory feast and a great parade in...
Alright, so we came in really quickly. I'll take a quick aerial view of it. It was like an in and out really quick. The Hippodrome is what they call it. Alright, so we're leaving the Hippodrome. Gotta make our way back out. Let's see what they have in store for us as we walk with Herodotus. Speed it up a little bit. That's tour number 2 of 9. Gonna make our way to the 3rd one. Oh, we'll stop right here really quick, see what this is. So this says Elis coinage and banner. Zeus's thunderbolt, reverse type of a stator of Elis, struck for Olympia 416 BCE, which is classical Greece. Okay, so Zeus's thunderbolt. It says Elis is most famous for its sanctuary of Olympia. Excuse me. Elis is most famous for its sanctuary of Olympia, where the Olympics were held. The main divinity of the sanctuary was Zeus. Its main temple was dedicated to him and housed the famous gold and ivory statue of Zeus made by Phidias. Zeus was known as the king of gods and god of thunder. One of his attributes was the thunderbolt, which was given to him by the Cyclops. The coinage of Elis is associated with Olympia, and Zeus is often depicted on the coins. They sometimes feature a head of Zeus, but he's also commonly represented by his thunderbolt, which served as the model for the region's banner, or his signifying animal, the eagle. Can I join in?
Victory at the Olympic Games was one of the highest honors a mortal could achieve, and there were several ways to immortalize that honor. Some athletes had statues erected of themselves, while others commissioned poets to write them victory odes. Oral tradition was very important to the Greeks. These odes, called eponychia, were often composed by the finest poets in the land, such as Pindar, Simonides, and Bacchylides. They were usually played at banquets and celebrations attended by the triumphant athlete, or upon his departure from Olympia.
So this is an oil painting by Jean-Auguste Dominique in Greece, titled Pindar. This artist lived between 780 and 1867. They're saying this painting was done somewhere between 1830 and 1867, which is the modern period. It was found in London at the National Gallery. Pindar, who lived from 518 BCE to 443 BCE, was a Greek poet who originally hailed from Thebes. He was very sought after in his time and composed several odes for victorious athletes. Pindar's popularity earned him commissions all over Greece, from Sicily in the west all the way to Cyrene in North Africa. Many of the commissions were from members of the ruling aristocracy, such as Hieron of Syracuse, for whom Pindar composed 4 odes. Alright, shouts out to Pindar, I guess. Everyone's just out here having a good time, huh? What instrument are you playing? Something's funny over there, huh?
The pentathlon took place at the stadium on the second day. As its name implies, it was made up of 5 events: discus throwing, javelin throwing, jumping, racing, and wrestling. There are several differences between the ancient version of events and their contemporary counterparts. For example, ancient long jumpers held weights in their hands to give them momentum to launch, since there was no run-up before the jump. Similarly, if an athlete won the first 3 events, they were immediately declared the winner, instead of being judged by their overall performance in all 5 events. Running events work the same as they do today, with the notable exception of all the athletes being nude. As for wrestling, competitors were not divided by weight class as they are today, but instead by age. The winner was the first to throw his opponent to the ground 3 times.
I just want to know why they had to be nude. Like, why ain't y'all wear clothes? So this is a black figure, Skyphus, with scene of wrestling 500 BCE, which is archaic Greece. This was housed in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York from the Rogers Fund in 1910. It says, earlier Olympic Games were only open to adult men. At the 37th Olympiad in 632 BCE, paides, or young boys, were welcome to compete in stadion races and wrestling, albeit in a separate category from the older competitors. The youngest competitor to ever win an Olympic event was Damascus of Messene, who won the stadion race in 368 BCE at the age of 12. He continued to win well into adulthood, contradicting Aristotle's belief that a child athlete's success never carried into adulthood. So here's a scene right here. Looks like they're wrestling. So the winner would throw the other to the ground 3 times.
Day 3 started with the most important event of the festival. A procession of Hellanodikai, ambassadors, competitors, and animals made their way to the great altar in front of the Temple of Zeus. The animals were then offered as the official sacrifice of the festival. The afternoon of Day 3 was dedicated to foot racing events. Running was the oldest event of the Games, and in fact was the only event at the first Olympics.
I respect it, man.
The main race was called the Stadion, which was a sprint of around 180 meters. The winner was granted the honor of lending his name to the 4-year period between the Games. This period was known as the Olympiad. The 4 years that followed the first Games in 776 BCE were known as the Olympiad of Coroebus of Elis, the first Olympic champion. Once all the competitions were over, a public banquet was held in the Prytaneon to celebrate the day's victors.
So we got a Panathenaic amphora with Dolichos runners, or Dolichos runners. This is dated 332 or 331 BCE, which is the classical Greece period. Let's get a quick look at that. Very interesting. Day 3. Running events were characterized by length. The stadion race was named after its unit of measurement. In Greece, a stadion was equal to about 180 meters. The Dialos race was twice the distance of the stadion, as runners had to run the length of the track, then run back. Its name was derived from the aulos, a flute whose V-shape matched the round trip of the race. The Dolichos, was a long-distance race where competitors ran approximately 20 or 24 times the length of the stadion. Since it was less exciting to watch than a shorter, fast-paced race, the Dolichos served as an opening event. Let's see what else they got for us.
Day 4 was mainly for combat events. Wrestling matches were held in the morning, followed by boxing and pankration. Pancration was a no-holds-barred mix between wrestling and boxing. Almost all moves were permitted, except for biting, poking the eyes or mouth, and striking the genitals. The event was very popular, and it was seen as the ultimate expression of strength and technique. Later on in the afternoon, there was a unique racing event called the Hoplite, or Race in Armor. In this event, competitors wore a helmet and held a shield to simulate running in the battlefield.
So right here we got the Hoplitodromos, runner on starting position. This is anywhere between 500 and 450 BCE classical Greece. So I could see him there in the running position. On the other side, it looks like the same shape similar to what's known today as like a swastika. Anyway, it says the Hoplitodromos originated in 520 BCE at the 65th Olympiad. It consisted of 25 competitors running the same length as the Dialos race, while carrying bronze shields provided for them from the Temple of Zeus. The Hoplitodromos was emblematic of the close relationship in Greece between sports and war. Both shared qualities admired by the Greeks, such as effort, endurance, and courage.
The Hellenodikai, or judges of the Greeks, were both the game's adjudicators and their organizers. They hailed from Elis, the city in charge of the sanctuary of Olympia, and new judges were elected each Olympiad. They had several responsibilities. Before the game started, they decided which athletes would be allowed to compete and supervise their training. They also drew lots to make the competition brackets. During the games themselves, they picked the winners and kept an eye out for foul play. For the latter, they were assisted by stick and whip-wielding umpires who stood near the athletes and punished them if they were caught cheating.
Like a referee, basically. So this is a Panathenaic amphora with a scene of Pancration with a judge, and I see him there with the stick. 500 BCE, which is archaic Greece. This is in New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, from the Rogers Fund of 1916. So maybe they're wrestling again right here. It looks like he about to take him down. Pause. All right, so it says the Hellenodikai. Athletes came to Olympia in pursuit of glory, but sometimes that pursuit was fatal. There was always a chance of death at the games, and some events like boxing and Pancration were extremely dangerous. Competitors were aware of this danger, and some even embraced it. In fact, before events, many athletes prayed for Zeus to grant them either victory or death. Arguably, the most famous death was that of Erychion, a two-time Pancration champion. Erychion was looking to win a third title for himself in 564 BCE. He made it all the way to the final match, but then his opponent put him in a stranglehold. Desperate to escape, Erychion kicked hard at his opponent's foot, dislocating it in the process. The pain caused the opponent to submit to the umpires, but at the same time, Erychion tried twisting out of his grip. The movement snapped Erychion's neck and killed him. But since his opponent had submitted mere seconds before, Erychion was still declared the winner. Wow, what a story. Great story, great story. So we got two more. Let's just take a look at what they're doing here, though. Don't stand like that, bro. Oh, he only faces... Okay. So look, we got a wrestling match over here. What's this? Discovery site uncovered organization. It says Agonathetes crowning an athlete seen from a red cup figure, 490 to 450 BCE time frame, classical Greece. So an athlete's being crowned. I'm just really like perplexed about the fact that they didn't wear underwear or even like, you know, something. Organization. Up until 584 to 580 BCE, the Olympic Games were organized by the Oxylides, an aristocratic family from the city of Elis. Over time, however, the family seemingly died out, and the responsibility of organizing the games passed on to other members of the Elean aristocracy who were chosen randomly by lot. The first organizers of the games were originally called Agonathetae, literally those who held the games, but their name was eventually changed to Hellenodicae. Alright. So they're the ones that were responsible for these games. A ruling family. It looks like some type of irrigation system right here. So we got 2 more stations.
Victory in Olympia was one of the most prestigious honors in all of Greece. Not only would victors be showered in glory in their home city, but their names would be known across Greece. The temptation to glory led some athletes to break their oath to Zeus and cheat. This could be dangerous, as there were many possible punishments should cheaters be caught. They could be disqualified and fined, or if they were caught cheating during a match, they would be beaten by nearby umpires. The most powerful deterrent of cheating, however, was shame. At the foot of Mount Kronios, and on the way to the stadium, were a group of bronze statues called Zanes, the plural of Zeus. These statues were inscribed with the names of the cheating athletes, how they cheated, and the fine that was imposed. The Zanes, which were funded by cheaters' fines, were strategically placed to be highly visible. Individuals or even entire cities could be found guilty of cheating.
Gotta respect that. Put them on blast. Zeus throwing a thunderbolt. 4th to 3rd century BCE, which is Hellenistic Greece. Athens, National Archaeological Museum. So this says Cheaters Stella. Ambition sometimes led athletes to bribery. This was seen as extremely odious, as the game started with them swearing an oath to Zeus himself that they would follow the rules. Even so, corruption still found its way into the games. Both the boxer Eupolis of Thessaly and the Pancratiast Kallippos of Athens paid other competitors to let them win. Hellenodicae also could also be corrupt, although incidences of them cheating were less common. For example, in 372 BCE, a judge was suspected of corruption when he won 2 horse races, and as a consequence, his right to buy horses and chariots was suspended. I'm all for it, man. There's a lot of cheaters in this world. You gotta put them on blast. Let them know that's not alright. So these are the Zanes, the plural of Zeus. We got one more station, and then we're gonna get into the quiz at the end. We always got a nice quiz at the end. I've been going, 2 for 3, maybe 3 for 4. There's always one that might catch me slipping. I'll try to go 100% on this one though. I think we can do it. We're rolling with our boy Herodotus. What is this, Mason? It's a live tour.
The Prytaneon was the administrative center of the cult of Olympia and the Olympic Games. The building housed the sanctuary's priests, as well as the game's officials. It was also used to stage the grand banquet held on the evening of the third day to honor victors. It also had a sacred function. Its central chamber was the location of the Fire of Hestia, a sacred flame that burned day and night. This fire was used to light the other altars around the sanctuary. This practice may have partially inspired the modern tradition of carrying the Olympic torch.
Alright, I gotta read into that. This is a red-figured Dinos with the scene of a banquet anywhere between 375 and 350 BCE, which is classical Greece, from the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art from the Rogers Fund in 1914. So they're having a banquet. This is the Prytaneion. Public and private banquets play different roles in Greek society. Private banquets were held for aristocrats to meet, discuss ideas, and display their wealth and power. Public banquets, on the other hand, were usually organized by the state, enthroned for civic, religious, or political reasons. They also helped reinforce a sense of unity and social order. The religious aspects of public banquets were reflected in their meals, which usually consisted of meat left over from an earlier animal sacrifice. So that's the Prytaneion. So now we get to take the quiz. Let's see if we could get 100% on this quiz.
Hello again! I hope you enjoyed your visit. With their spectacular events and lavish banquets, the Olympic Games were a feast for the senses. I am certain even Zeus himself was entertained by the festivities. Now, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, let's take the quiz.
Wonderful! Let the mental Olympics begin. Let's start with an easy one.
All right.
Which notable woman won an event in the Games?
Ooh, man. Oh, man. Okay, so it's either Kiniska or Aspasia. I know it's one of these two. I'm tempted to say Aspasia, but watch it be Kiniska.
No, Aspasia did not
Ah,
participate
see,
in the Games.
it's the first one. It's the first one.
Correct. She won 2 equestrian events.
I knew it.
Thanks to her savvy horse.
I gotta go with my
This
gut.
next question
I gotta
is
trust my
slightly
intuition.
more challenging.
Okay.
Which of the following is not a famous Greek poet?
Not a famous Greek poet. So Pindar was, I know he was, so it's not Pindar. I don't know about the rest of these guys. Simonides, Brasidas, Bacchylides. Who is not a famous Greek poet? My goodness, man. It's not Pindar. But Pindar was the only one that was mentioned out of all 4 of them. So why?
Pindar was one of the greatest poets in the Greek world.
Man.
Choose another.
Alright, you said it's Brasidas? Brasidas? Brasidas or Bacchylides? Which one? Brasidas or Bacchylides? Because you put Brasidas. Brasidas? There's no Brasidas. Brasidas, alright.
You are right.
Oh, you got it right.
Brasidas was a renowned Spartan general, and he didn't have time for bribes and pretty words. Time for the final question.
Alright, we got one more.
How many events were in the pentathlon?
That's easy. 5, man. Pent is 5. Oh, you just guessed? Oh, that's crazy. You got it right, man.
Yes, the Greek word for pende means 5, and the pentathlon had 5 events. Well done, my friend. You truly possess a sharp mind.
I'm a little bit disappointed because I think out of all the quizzes, there's only been one where I got them all right. There's always one question that trips me up every single time.
Very well. Safe travels, my friend.
All right, that was good. Oh, okay, you study this? You must be studying, but yeah, this was about the Olympic Games. So this is Herodotus right here. And we're in, where are we actually? We are in, Elis. We're in Elis. Oh, thank you for the help, man. So it was just teaching us about the history of the Olympic Games. Do you get to see the games? Not really. They showed us the hippodrome over here. I'll show you. Like they showed us like brief. You got to remember, in the beginning, the Olympic Games wasn't what we know it as today. You know, they said the very first Olympic Games there was only running. It's as time progresses that it becomes, you know, as special as we know it today. So what they're doing here was a part of like the original Olympic Games. Like I think it was called the Stadion or something like that. Like literally they would just run. And then they started to add in like wrestling, boxing, and all that other stuff. So yeah, it could seem a little bit underwhelming, but it's given like the origins of the games that, you know, become the great thing that we know today. And I'm actually impressed that it's a tradition that carries on today. You know, so you got to give them credit for inspiring that competition and glory. But they also talked about the cheating and stuff like that and whatnot. So yeah, I'm learning about ancient Greek history. What is this on? This is Assassin's Creed. What's the name? I just started the game. I don't even remember. Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So like, you know, it gives you the history. Like each Assassin's Creed, you can do a discovery tour, and it's gonna teach you about the society that the game takes place in. So this is like the 4th Assassin's Creed game I've been playing. I played Origins, which takes place in Egypt. I played Valhalla, which takes place in like basically, you know, like what you call like England, Ireland, Scotland. I've played what's the other one? Mirage, which takes place in Baghdad. And now I'm doing this one, which is the 4th one that I've played, which is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So now I'm learning about the history of the Greeks. Oh yeah, man. I mean, the Discovery Tour makes me like the game even more because I just like history. So, you know. But yeah, I was a Herodotus in that tour. And you can look at the timeline. The next live stream I do, I'm gonna learn about the Mycenaean culture. I don't know about it. I learned about the Minoan civilization. So next I'm gonna do the Mycenaean civilization. So yeah, this was about the Olympic Games. The first Olympic Games took place in 776 BCE. But yeah, man. Oh, I didn't even get a new character. I didn't get to unlock anyone new from that. That's messed up. I'm into the progression and gameplay mechanics and how realistic it is. Okay. Yeah, my favorite one, I think, may have to be... the one I enjoy playing the most is Valhalla. Like, I really like Valhalla. I've been playing Valhalla for like 2 years now. That game takes forever to complete. But I've completed Mirage. I've completed Origins. Origins was really fun too. I haven't started playing this one yet. I just jumped right in it to do the Discovery Tour. Yeah, it is badass. Assassin's Creed is probably my favorite series, to be honest with you. You think so? Yeah, yeah. Valhalla. If you're talking about Valhalla, yeah, it's really drawn out. I mean, all of them really take a little while to complete the story, but I like that. You know, Origins, Black Flag. I haven't played Black Flag in 3. See, I played the first one. I haven't played Black Flag. I think that's the one that takes place in it's an American one, I think. 3, I'm not sure what that one is. But yeah, I'll get to those two, especially if they have the Discovery Tour. I'll play them. All right, so next, we could do, what else is interesting? I completed all the politics and philosophy. I didn't do any of the famous cities, but I could do the Gods of Olympia, but that's 21 minutes, so I'm not doing that right now. Oh, the third one is the Revolutionary War. Okay, I got it mixed up. Yeah, these tours are all pretty lengthy, and I'm tired, so I'm not going to do these tonight. I didn't even get to the daily life. You can learn about wine, the life of a Greek woman, bronze and Argos, perfume, Lorient silver mines, wheat and agriculture, pottery in Athens, dyeing and you could learn about the battles and wars. So I learned about the Battle of Marathon, which was against the Persians. I also want to do this one. I want to learn about their education, Spartan education. Then you got Thermopylae. Okay, then you got the Battle of Amphipolis, and the battles of Pylos and Sphacteria. So to be real with you, I don't really know any Greek history. I'm learning it right now. You said they need a modern day Assassin's Creed, but it wouldn't really make much sense since the whole game is based on the ancient League of Assassins. I know they just released one that takes place in feudal Japan or something like that. I'm pretty sure it takes place in feudal Japan. I forget what it's called. I don't have it. But yeah, nah, the Assassin's Creed is the shit. Have I played Assassin's Creed 2? Nope. Unfortunately, Alan, I have not played it. You know, I jumped into Assassin's Creed like 2 years ago, man. I remember a long time ago. This had to be like maybe 2007. I remember playing the very first one. The very, very first one. And then I took a hiatus. And I returned to it to play Origins. And I enjoyed that. So, yeah, now Assassin's Creed is the shit. I played almost every one, even on the PSP. Oh, okay. I didn't even know they had Assassin's Creed on the PSP. Alright, let me see if I can find one of those like little side quests, because I can see them around here. Like, for example, there's one over here. I'm gonna go to this. Yeah, people don't realize it, but I learn a lot from these video games. You know, people like to shit on video games, but I learn a lot from this. I've heard about God of War. Yeah, I've heard about God of War. I heard it's a good game. Look, this is the modern Olympic flame. It's called the Lampadedromia, seen from a red figure, Oinako, 4th century BCE. So it says, the modern concept of lighting of the Olympic flame, a practice started during the 1936 Games in Berlin, has its roots in antiquity. The carrying of the torch was at least partially inspired by the Lampadedromia, a relay race that required runners to reach the finish line while holding a still burning torch. However, although the Lampadedromia was held at many religious festivals and sporting events, it was not an event in the ancient Olympic Games. Instead, the most important flame in Olympia was the sacred fire of Hestia, which was used to light the sanctuary's altars during the festival. The very first one on PS3, Assassin called Okay? People really underestimate the fact that people learn so much from video games. It's like there's no longer just video games. It's literally pieces of interactive art. Yeah. Yeah, video games. See, people don't realize video games is like strategy. Like, to me, the way I understand Assassin's Creed, like, it makes you think. Like, when I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, for example, like, it's not so straightforward how you get into a building or how you find a key. Like, sometimes you have to think, like, how do I get into this building? How am I going to find this key? You know, so, like, it does make you think. It's not all just fun and games, but it is fun and games at the same time. So, yeah, Assassin's Creed is a good game. But I'm going to, yeah, exactly, critical thinking skills. I'm tired, so I'm going to jump off. And I'll probably go live again tomorrow night. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to come back and hang out. I'll be here. So, peace out, you guys.